Hey, we meet again. Let's continue this learning journey. These days, Internet or international networking and website are two very commonly used terms. This session first introduces you to these two terms. It then explains the basics of design with proper examples. Design is an important part of web designing and enhances your website look. Next, this session explains how some points and lines, when put together, form the basic form of design, a shape. Following this, it gives you a detailed description of the three different types of shapes, such as organic or objective, abstract or implied, and geometric or non-objective with proper examples. Then, it gives examples of how ancient Egyptians and Greeks connected to the different types of shapes and how famous personalities like Sir Isaac Newton and Sir Albert Einstein used shapes to explain different theories. Finally, the session ends with the details of different geometric shapes like ellipses, spheres, circles, triangles, rectangles, squares, parallelograms, rhombuses, and trapezoids. Hence, use these basic elements to design your website with an impressive look.
Today, I would like to discuss an easy to understand topic using very simple things which can produce an important thing at end for our learning. First, look after what happens. I am using few lines to draw in circular form. Then, few curves to connect those lines, but following rhythm which produces the spider's nest or the spider's trap, or that called as web. Once a prey trapped in this way, the spider gets informed immediately and it takes the prompt action. You can notice the spider's net is spread occupying out how much area. But that is not a problem at all for the spider to take the necessary action in whole area. Similarly, the engineering of our website functioning has also been conceptually derived from here. Easy to contact facility from anywhere of the world once connected to the internet. Internet, this word is abbreviated form of international networking. Nowadays, for most of the important work, we are depending upon the related website links. For education, website. For daily transaction, either the post office site link or the bank website link. To travel anywhere in the country, either book a ticket using Indian Railway, IRCTC site, or for booking the flight in Make My Trip or any other similar kind of sites. So, what is website? These are nothing but some page or files where the required information has been stored in prior. We can read depending on our requirements and accordingly can access the facilities provided over there. Naturally, a question arises, how can I make these designs? Any kind of drawing starts from a single dot. depending upon the arrangement of few multiple dots, it can form a straight line once we connect in those dots. Straight lines add affection and can make it look more detailed and challenging. Horizontal, vertical, and angled lines often contribute to creating different moods of a picture. Similarly, if arrangement of those multiple dots happened in a curvy way, connecting those dots can form a curved line. Curved lines are generally used to create a sense of flow within an image. They are also generally more aesthetically pleasing as we associate them with soft things. Compared to straight lines, curves provide a greater dynamic influence in a picture. So, line is one of the basic elements of a drawing. Till now, we have discussed about the dot or point from which a drawing can start and the line where both of these has some deficiency. A point is just a position that has no size, no width, no length, no dimension whatsoever. Same way, a line is a one-dimensional. It extends infinitely in either direction and has no thickness.
When we are designing a web page or website, we use a color theory. Do you know what color theory is?
Colors affect how people see your website because every color has a meaning and a message to carry. We need to keep a few rules in mind to use colors for a website. A color theory is the collection of such rules and guidelines. It is the science and art of using colors for designing.
Hi there! Get ready to experience another interesting session. Today, internet is a very useful thing. From your e-learning classes to your online tests, it plays a very important role. This session begins with internet, its history, and the rise of websites. It then talks about the father of the internet, the founder of www, hypertext markup language or HTML, and its use in interlinking web pages. Next, it explains the ways by which a computer connects to the internet, terms like modems, broadband, and more. Then, you learn about websites, internet languages, and web browser. Next, you learn about examples of client-based and server-based languages and server-based applications. Then, it explains IP address, domain name, etc. Next, it gives a few basics of web design, how to choose a tool that is advanced with the latest technology for any type of website creation, and defines the purpose behind creating a website. Then, you learn how to build a website. For this, you learn how to place the web page elements such as buttons, links, etc., about text presentation, the position of banners, navigations, etc., and the correct choice of colors. Then it explains a sitemap, a website with features, examples and their types, blogs or weblogs, bloggers, and more. Next, you learn about search engines, email clients, Google Docs, PDFs, and others. Next, you will learn what the website design looks like and how to create pages and menus. Therefore, know and use the internet for better exchange of information.
Choosing technology. So whenever we want to design a website or create a website in the market, there are many tools available by which you can create or design our website. So basically, whenever you're going to create a website or design a website, you must research on your website. Before starting the website or before starting the design of our website, that what purpose will it serve and what functionality we have to provide to the customers or users, by which we can grow our business. So we start with choosing the technology or to design a website. You can use two platforms to build a website. Let's see what are those. First, content management system. That is, a content management system is a software for designing, managing and publishing your web contents or website content. So in which we can create our own content also, or we can manage the content also. Like we have a personal blog or a blog for the users that we can maintain, or we can manage our contents also on the web pages, like our paragraphs or any other contents like video or images like that. These are the content we can manage by content management system. And the next is website builder. So for creating a website, either we can use a tool or a programming language. So basically, for creating a website, we must have some technical knowledge about our website. If we don't have any knowledge about it, so we can use our tools there. There are many tools that we can use to create a website. But for that, we need some more practice to create a website. For this is another platform to design a website or to build a website in which we need some programming knowledge of a website, that the programming language popular used is PHP. We can use PHP to create dynamic pages or to create a dynamic content of a website also. So for that purpose, you can use PHP or you can use ESP also, ESP.NET, for by which you can also create a website or build a website. So these are the two platforms by which we can build a website. So next part, factors to be considered to build a website. There are a number of factors that we have to consider before we build a website. Number one, technical knowledge. As I said, we must have at least some background knowledge of any language or the tools that we are going to use to create a website. Because what functionality we are going to provide, it must be to serve a purpose to create a website, because it directly communicates with the users. So for that purpose, you have to make some research on the website that we got functional or services that we are going to provide to the customers. So for that purpose, we must have some technical knowledge of the tools or language in which we are going to create a website. Next, cost. Cost is regarding tools. Regarding the tools, to create a website, we use many more tools. There are some tools which provide some free facility, or there are some tools which we have to pay to use that functionality. The functionality like we have to add the payment gateway method or database integration or dynamic contents. For that purpose, many tools we have to upgrade that tools to the premium level by which we can use that functionality. So it costs at least something in dollars. So we have to use that costing also, but it is affordable costing that we can or any users can manage that much cost. So these are the affordable costs that we have to take to use that functionality which is provided by the default tool that you are using. Next, support. If you are an experienced user to create a website or you have a previous experience of creating a website, then you might need help where your functionality is getting critical or tight in a hard level, then you might need help to the support. But if you are a newbie or a beginner of a website development, or you are coming in as a beginner in website development, then you need some support as a blog. In the blog, or the documentation provided by the support tools that they already provide on their website. Also, most of the time they provide the support, or you can get that technical support from the calling also, or by mail also you can get the support. The tools that you're using or the functionality that you're using by the tools. So these are the factors that we have to consider to build the website. So these are the main factors. By using these factors or by overcoming these factors, we can build a good website. Define site's purpose. So whenever we are going to design a website, then we must know what for. For what purpose we are going to design this website. There are many types of the websites we can create, like social media website or the blog website, or you can create your blog or your personal portfolio. The website for the Photoshoppers, or if you are a professional photographer, then you can use build your profile. Also for e-commerce or for web applications also, you can create a website. Or if you are providing your own business services or any other functionality other than this, for that purpose you can use a website. So you must know or you must define the purpose of your website by which you can attract the customers and users, by which you can grow your business also. For that purpose, you must define your purpose of a website. Website plays a very important role to communicate with the users. Why? Because we are placing our contents or ideas in front of the users. They can view your ideas or read your ideas through your articles, through your blogs, or through the functionality you are providing, or the services that you're providing. So these are the basic purpose that we must have to serve. Let's start with the first point. Before you start designing a website, then you have to answer these questions. And first question is main purpose of your site. As I said, you must know your purpose of your site. For what purpose you are going to provide it, for a business, or if you are providing any services, or if you are creating a personal blog, or you're creating your portfolio or any other type other than this that you are providing. The functions or service to the customer or users. So we must know what is the purpose of our website that we are going to use. Next, functions your site providing. This is another question. What functions I am going to provide to my users? So if I'm using an e-commerce website, then I must know what functions, like what product I'm dealing with or what functionality I'm going to provide, whether in that the duty is applicable or not, whether I can use the multi-vendor personality or not. So these are some types of functions, or if I'm giving them a payment to get away method or not. So there are functions that I'm just giving an example for that. So these are the functions that we have to provide to the customers if you are dealing with the e-commerce website, or if you are working on a social media website, then you must give the functionalities like uploading the images or videos or chat functionality like that, or you can use your own short videos also. So these are the functions that depend on your website. What type of website you are providing or creating, according to that, your function varies. So you must know, or you must have to consider your functions that you're going to provide in your website. You must have the answers to yourself of these questions. Next, where do you see your business in the next few years after creating your website? Everybody wants to, or any website developer or who is going to use that website, he needs a business from that website, and he might thinking about the next world of his business, what he is going or he can grow. You can grow your business by, once you create a website, you can grow your business by SEO or digital marketing also. Digital marketing and SEO also help you to grow your business. So you can divide your website functionality in the number of pages that if it is difficult to give all the facilities at one time for the customer or user, then you can upgrade your website timely. According to your business growth, like in the first phase, you can just provide a registration. Then in the next phase, you can provide the multi-vendor registrations or multi-user registrations. And after that, you can use the payment gateway methods for a product, or customers can approve their products. Likewise, you can grow your business. So these are some questions that you have to answer yourself to before creating a website, and you how to make some research about that also. That does my website fulfill my functions or services that I'm going to provide to the users? So let's move to the next part. Gathering information. This is one of the most important parts. While creating a website, this part comes before we actually start designing a website. So gathering information is nothing but to gather all the research or to make some research about your website that we have discussed, what functionality and purpose, for what purpose you are going to create your website. So you can gather that information from communicating with the people or communicating with the customers who are going to use that. That could be your target audience, or you can communicate with your team members. Also, you can get the information from newspaper also, or you can get the information from by interview also, or the survey also. There are a number of methods to gather the information. It depends on your website that what type of functionality and services you're going to provide. According to that, your information gathering is divided according to the condition. Next, these things to consider while designing a website. We must consider something, or the things that we have to consider. That is the first purpose, whether I'm serving my purpose. Once I design a website, whether I have to analyze that, whether my website has fulfilled that purpose, for what purpose I have designed this website. So this is the first thing that we have to consider. Second, what are the goals that I have set to complete the website? And after that, what are the goals to increase my business or to give the more facility that I can give to the users or customers, or these words that I have to be considered. According to that, I have to design my website according to my goals. So next, target audience. So this is the another most important thing that we have to consider while building a website, is depend on your functionality again. The whole thing of the website design is basically dependent on your functionality and services that you are going to provide. So you must know what type of audience you have. Suppose you are creating an education website. So the audience, target audience, will be the students who are pursuing their education. Or if you are using a matrimonial site, then your target audience should be those who are in the age of marriage. So this could be your target audience. Or if you are using an e-commerce website, then the products, what type of products you are selling on your website. So according to that, your target audience changes. Or like you are, for another example is like you're making website for the video blogs. So according to that also, the target audience changes. So target audience is depending on your functionality and the purpose of your website. Next, content. So content, it's again important part. Content plays important role in the website design. Why? Because whenever user comes on your website, then the content plays important role. Why? Because your content speaks louder than your action. Because this is the only communication media with the users. So your content and layout must be good and it should be attractive, that the user can stay on that page more time. So from that you can get a click also, or you can get more business from that also. So these are the things that we have to consider while creating our website. Design of website. Designing websites. You can design a website by using tools which are available in the market. That is one of the most popular tool, that is WordPress. So you can use the WordPress to create a website. It is already defined. There are some templates in the WordPress. They provide some default templates to create a website, so you can use that templates or themes. For to create your website, you don't have to take much effort to create a design. There is already design they have made for us in the templates, where we have to just customize that template. That is how we use a WordPress tool. Choosing the theme after installing a WordPress, you can choose your theme. That I say, after choosing a theme, you can customize that. Themes according to your purpose and functions. So let's start. First, we will check how to install WordPress on a local host. So let's start with the local host. So before we start, we have to download the WordPress zip file, that is the installation file of a WordPress, that is a package. You have to download. You can download this WordPress package from wordpress.org. Once you download it, we will install this WordPress in a XAMPP server. Why? Because we are using Windows, and for Windows, for the local host, we use XAMPP. So in a XAMPP folder, this is my XAMPP folder, and in that htdoc is my root directory. So I will first extract that downloaded WordPress file. So I am extracting that file, WordPress file. We'll rename this. So we will copy this code or the extracted folder into our root directory, that is XAMPP. In that we have to find such htdocs, and in that we will paste our extracted folder of WordPress. So once it is extracted, we will open our control panel. So this is my control panel of a XAMPP. So we have to start two services, that is Apache and MySQL. So we will start the services from the control panel. Now I have to create one database before installing a WordPress. So I will open PHP MyAdmin. So I'll click on this button, that is MySQL admin. So this is my dashboard of PHP MyAdmin, and these are the databases that MySQL default provided. So we will create our own database, new database. So we'll click on this tab, that is databases. So once we click it, it will ask us to create a new database. So we'll create a database by the name my_db, and we will hit the button create. Now my database has created. We can see it here, my_db. This is my database that we have created. Before installing WordPress on XAMPP, so let us see that of my folder has extracted or not. Yes, it is extracted in a htdoc folder. Now we will again go to the control panel, and we will open admin panel of our website or local host. So this is my dashboard for the local host. So we'll type here, now WordPress. So when we hit on the WordPress, it will ask us to install a WordPress on our local host. So XAMPP. In that htdoc is my root directory. In that root directory, I have pasted my extracted WordPress folder. So my setup configuration page is here. That is, we'll set first the language English, and out of that it will ask us for database name. Then database username, password, database host, and table prefix. So let's click on let's go. So now here I have to type a database name that I have created, that we have created. Earlier in PHP MyAdmin, that is my database name is my_db. And my default username for the PHP MyAdmin is root. Password we haven't set for the root. And my database host is localhost, because we are running this project on localhost. And my table prefix is WP, that is WordPress. So let's click on submit. Now it will ask to run the installation. We'll click on that. Run the installation, and it will ask me for the title of our website. So I'll create my web, and my username should be admin, and I'll type the password admin@123. So this is for example. Let's confirm. Use of weak password, and you have to type your email address. For the instance, I am typing my fake email address or email address, but you have to type your own email address. So I type abc@gmail.com. and we'll click on Install WordPress. Once we install WordPress, this process has completed. It will show me my themes or dashboard of our WordPress. So this is showing me an error. So we'll change this title because we have already created this title. We'll create student. Already installed? Okay. So we click on login now. So there, this should be my username that we have typed, that is admin. And password is admin@123. And we'll hit on the login button. So it will show me my dashboard of my web. So this is my dashboard. You can check from here also. Visit site, and this is my default template of WordPress that we have set here. Or you can get the more themes. So we will take the new theme to create our website. We will click on this theme button. So we will click on these themes, add new. And in this, I already downloaded one theme. That is this theme, and we will install that theme or upload that theme. So choose file. We will click on choose file, and you have to provide that zip folder. That is the zip file format. So we will click this and we will say open. And install now. Theme installed successfully, we'll say. Live preview or activate. You can go by both options. So this is my live preview for the theme that we have chosen. So this is how we install WordPress. So this is my theme. We can activate it, and you can also make changes or customize this template as you want. So we'll click on this customize. So this is my template, or this is how we install a WordPress on a local host. And we can make the changes in this. So these are the content that you can set on your web pages, on your website. And this is my site name. So this is for the installation of WordPress. In the last session of Web Designing Basics, we have seen how to install a WordPress on a local host and how to install a new theme for our project in our local host. Now in this session, we will customize that theme to create our pages and menus. And in this session, we will create how to create pages and menus, and how to customize our theme or a template that we have used to create our website. So let's start with the customization of our website. For that purpose, I have come to my local host. So I started my XAMPP control panel, and in that I have started my board services, that is Apache and MySQL. Now I'm going to hit on these buttons, that is admin. That is my default local dashboard of localhost. So this is my default dashboard of a local host. Now I have to go to our project, that is WordPress. So this is my page that we have created last time. So I will go to my admin panel first. Go to your dashboard, and this is my dashboard. We have to type here the username, that is admin, and password is admin@123. Login. So this is my website. Right now we are going to create one page in my website. So let's create a page. So we'll click on this, and in this here, this is the option. Pages, you can click on add new and or the pages. Here it will show me the pages. So we can click on this, add new page button or add new button. So it will ask me to add a title. So I'll add products. This is my one page that I need to use. So I will save and publish. So this page has created, that is the address of a page is index.php and the product is my address. So this is when I click on this page products. So this is my product. So I can add or customize this page. From customizing, click on customize. So I can use the menus also and home page settings also from here. These are the modules that we can use to customize our page. So let's create or go to our dashboard, and this is my dashboard, my site, and we will create menus. We'll go here in the appearance and we'll click on menus. So this is my menu. This is my page product, and I'll next click on add to menu. So this will create my menu. On a page, let's go to the pages now. We have to select this create menu here. Once we saved it, let's go to the pages now, and this is my page. I can click here. Products. So I can add here, add a block, and we'll add a paragraph over here. So this is my paragraph. So this is my first content. So you can add all the contents or navigation from here. Also, or you can click on browse all. You will get all the lists that you want to add to your page. Or we can click on update now. So it will update my page. We can see a preview also. Preview in a new tab. So this is my product page. Here I have typed a single paragraph in my page, and this is my menu of product. When I click on this menu, the product page will come. This is how we create pages and menus in our website. So we will create again new page. We'll go to the dashboard, and again we'll create add new page. So we'll create a page by about us. So this is my another page. About us. We'll use the paragraph again. This is the about us page. So I'll publish this. Publish. So this is my address for the About Us page. You can click on View Page also. You can send the content also of About Us page. So we'll again go to the dashboard and we'll add to the menus also. So About Us, we will click Add Menu. And we'll save. Click on Save menu. So this is my another menu that we have created. This is how we create a menu and web pages. So I can click on View Pages. So I can get here another page. About Us. When I click on this, which will redirect me to the About Us page. When I click on Product page, it will redirect me to the Product page. This is how we create pages and menus in my website. You can edit this page or you can add many more contents as you want from this list. That is the blocks that you can add heading, you can add quote, classic, or you can write your code or pull quote. You can draw a table also. Or you can add a video also, a file also, or a media text also. You can design your group or columns, or you can use widgets also. Custom HTML. There are many more options that you can find in WordPress. So you can add or customize your page as you want it to customize. This is how we can create pages and menus in a customized folder or customized website of our theme. So this is how we create pages and menus in WordPress. Thank you.
What are the fundamentals of good web designing? What steps are essential? Can you describe them to me?
It's important to know the purpose behind building a website for web designing. Then a website wireframe or layout design is required. Having the content ready before we start designing is essential. A clear user interface that includes colors, type, and imagery is another fundamental of web designing. Lastly, making a website responsive is important as people use mobile more to browse the web.
How have you been? We meet again to continue learning with this upcoming session. Typography in web designing refers to the different elements like font type, text size, and more that improve your website's readability and user connectivity. Here in this session, you will learn about this term in detail. It begins with web typography and proceeds with the detailed rules of typography. Following this, it tells you about the guidelines for website typography. Next, you learn about the free and paid versions of fonts. Moving ahead, you learn how to use fonts in web designing. It then explains how fonts can be integrated through scripts on the server font package. After this, it explains how font optimization is carried out. Then, it gives some examples of the great typography present on the websites. Lastly, the session ends with detailed discussions on the additional resources of web typography. Hence, choose the right typography to create an attractive website that your visitors will love to see and read.
introduction of typography. Typography plays a very important role on any website by making sure we can comfortably read, process. It's all text. We can understand the graphic of the website and we can visualize it. For that purpose, we use typography. Typography determines how the word literally coming on a screen. That is the impression that we are setting on a user. So let's start the first part. So important to make sure site has a good user experience and UI. It is very important that we are making a good UI to attract the user and stay the user on the same page. For this purpose, we use typography. Create a great impression by reflective and systematic selection. Selection means selection of a font and font size, font color, its background color, layout, layout of a web page and layout of a website. Alignment of a text, that is left alignment, right alignment, and after that alignment of a whole page. In a paragraph, and any other factors that affect the designs of a page. What is typography in a web designing? Typography is an art of using letters and text in a way that makes a page readable and clear. It's a creative design of text on your web page. That is, we set a style for every page. It involves font style, appearance, and structure, which aims to obtain certain feeling and express messages. That is why we use typography. That is, what type of font we are using, how our images are appearing on the screen, and in what format we are structuring that website or web page that the user can engage with that page, from which we can get the multiple clicks and multiple business on the same page. For that purpose, we use typography. That is a typography. Why is typography important? Typography is much more than just selecting fonts. It's a crucial element of design. Set up a strong visual presence and provide a graphic steadiness to the website. Typography should guide and inform your users, optimize readability and accessibility, and ensure an excellent user experience. So, why the typography is important? Because typography builds mark of identification. It will not only build the mark of identification, but it will enhance the appearance of the website, so that user will curiously be associated with the typeface features of your brand. Unique, consistent typography will help you to establish a strong user following, build trust with your users, and help to carry your brand forward to making a business. For that purpose, we use mark of identification. Next, typography impacts decision making. Typography has profound effect on the way that user digests and perceives the information, conveyed by web. Eye-catching type is a must, much more than weak fonts that don't reinforce the message of a text. Third, typography holds the recognition of users. Good typography could be the difference between someone staying on your website for 1 minute or half an hour. It's important that your website is visually stimulating and memorable, and typography plays a huge role in this process. Rules for typography and guidelines for typography. So let's start with the rules for typography. So this is the first rule, clear entry point. Entry point plays very important role to attract the users to your website or to your article or to your blogs. So this is the example of clear entry point. Now I'm using here a title and I'm using one bold character starting with M. So I can use those tricks to attract the users to stay on this page and read the article to keep them engaged with the article. The entry points can include drop caps, headings, titles, full quotes or graphic elements. These are the process or tricks to stick the user on an article, to read that article or to use that page from which we can get the clicks also and a business also. For that we use clear entry point. This is the first point. Next, second point. Measurement of line. So let's see an example first. This is the first example and this is the second example. In both examples, the contents are same, but the only difference is in the first example, the content which is very compressed in a compressed format, and in the second example, the contents are little free and we can read it very comfortably or users can read it very comfortably. This is the basic difference between these two examples. So in the first example, I'll just make that characters very compressed and line very compressed. And in the second example, I just increase the space in between those lines and the characters. To improve the readability of the text, the line should have characters in between 45 to 90. Not compulsory, but that is a standard that we should keep the characters between 45 to 90 in a single line. That makes very comfortable to read each character on a page. But in the first example, it will read. It took some efforts to read all the characters very closely. We have to check it very closely. So that is the basic difference. Our first example and in second example, that is measurement of line, is very important. Third part, alignment. So again, let's see an example. So this is the first example and this is the second example. In the alignment, if you see, I have aligned that content in justified format or justified alignment. I set that content, and in a second example, I have set the content in left alignment. So, basically most of the time we use left alignment options as readers. Read from left to right. So basically user has a habit to read the content from left to right. And if we set this content as a justified, then see the spaces in between each character, that is the river spaces, we call as or river gaps. So when we align this content in a justified format, so what the processor does, that it keeps make an equal format from the left and right side. So it should increase the gap in between the characters when we align, and in second example when we align it in left alignment. Then these gaps should be removed, that is the reverse spaces has removed. So this is the basic difference in between alignment of the first example and second example. Next, let's move to the next point. All caps. So this is the example of all caps. We should not use all caps of our content. Whenever we are showing any content, very important content or a content on a web page, blog or article, then this content should not be in all caps. Shows very inappropriate to read that content again. The content should be capital only for the titles or headings or even full quotes. But for the body content, it is not appropriate to write all content in a capital format or in all caps format. It feels very uncomfortable to read, or it feels like somebody is shouting to us. So next point, hanging words. So hanging words are nothing but the words that are left behind or escaped from the single line and it comes into the next line. That word is called as hanging word. That in this case, in the first column, that last word is a hanging word. So we can set those words in a single line also, or we can make single line in a double line. For that purpose, it is very comfortable to read. It's best to select optical margin alignment also, which keeps hibernation outside the text frame. Like in this example, in the second paragraph, we use hyphen. That is the word. So we have to use all these words like this whenever it comes to the next line. That is the hanging words. Make sure that hanging words should not be coming in your article or a website. Let's move to the next point. Choosing fonts wisely. Whenever we are going to choose a font, then font plays a very important role. That one rule to follow each to keep the height of the font same or similar between two fonts. Whenever you're going to use the two fonts, then make sure that all the heights should be same for each character. Next, scaling headings. Heading is a sign point for readers so that they can quickly digest the overall structure of your articles. Means you can use heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, and it should be in a systematic and standard format that user can understand what is the main heading and what is the subheading or what is the subpart of that main heading. For that purpose, scaling headings are used. Visual breaks. When you work with a block of text, you should consider making the reading experience enjoyable. For that purpose, you use the visual break space. To create a visual break space in each paragraph, like suppose I am writing a 2 paragraph and in the second paragraph, I use an indent for the first line. So it is very comfortable to the users to read that paragraph and it makes enjoyable to the users also. So these are the rules for typography. Guidelines. So background and text color. This is the first guideline. Background and text color should not be same. So in this example, I am showing here in a rectangle or in a square box. I have set background color of rectangle and text color of my text is same, so that it is very uncomfortable to read those characters or words. So it takes much time to read those characters. Next, headings. Text and type of text should be proper. So this is the second text, and text size should be properly used. Whenever you are going to use a heading, it should be according to the body or resemble to the body also. Next, no minimized character spacing. Whenever you're going to use the words or characters in a paragraph, then as I have shown in previous examples, the character spacing should be minimum. The length of the characters should be well designed. Next, no moving and blinking text. So it feels very uncomfortable. If you are seeing moving text or blinking text on your website or article, so if the text is moving, then the user cannot read it very properly. And if it is blinking also, then it is not very understandable to the users. Next, minimum number of fonts. So whenever I'm going to use the fonts, it should be minimum. That is, these are the examples that I am showing here. So heading 1 is another font. Heading 2 is another font. Heading 3 and body also, these 4 are different fonts that I'm using on my websites. So make sure that you're not using that type of font, or if you're using, then make sure that it should be looking good on your website, but it is much better that you're using the same type of font or not using more fonts on your website. Next, minimum colors of fonts. So here in this example, here I am showing the font colors. So when you are using number of fonts, so it is not appropriate on a web page to show different types of fonts. So the eyes of the users will get distracted, or he cannot read it very properly for that purpose. Make sure you're not going to use the fonts in different colors, or you can use font colors in minimum number of colors. So these are the guidelines for the typography.
Do you know about the universally accepted fonts?
Pardon me, but I would like you to elaborate upon that question.
Okay. So when we are designing a mobile app or website, we need to consider using fonts that are compatible on all devices across all platforms. Unless the client states the requirement to use a different font type, we use the universal fonts.
Yes, to keep the website open for anyone to visit and interact. I know of such fonts, and they are Open Sans, Roboto, Helvetica, Montserrat, Avenir, etc.